supposed to ring the bell and then wait 15 seconds. I can go now? Great. Well, good afternoon, and I'm thrilled to see so many of you here. We have some competition over at the other end, United Way.
Don't think your mic's on.
Thanks. Well, with all this help, we'll have a great afternoon. So we'll start with Verse of America.
Country days of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of pilgrims' pride, from every mountainside, let freedom reign.
And Allison Markers on her way up to do guest introductions and the Rotary Minute.
Thank you, Joni. Good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started with the Rotary Minute, I'd like to introduce some guests that we have with us. Most of you are all familiar with the process. We'll introduce guests, and then if we could, after they're introduced individually, give them a warm Rotary welcome, that would be very nice. Stan Teeter has a guest with him today, who is a retired senior business manager, and that is Robert Gould.
Hi, Robert. See you all.
Lee Morris has two guests with him, Bob and Joyce Morris. Todd Kane has a guest with him who is by now familiar to us. Sophie is our inbound Rotary Youth Exchange student.
Hi, Sophie.
And Yana Ross has with her an employee at the computer store, which is the Division of Network Technologies, Amanda Whitehead. Thank you for all of you for being here. Those of you who know my husband, Mark, know he is a fan of National Fill-in-the-Blank Day. And he's not here today, but I wouldn't want you to go the whole day without knowing that today is National Pepperoni Pizza Day. And what comes with that are pizza jokes. So, how do you fix a broken pizza? With tomato paste. And even better, since we were talking about trips to France earlier, where do pepperonis go on vacation? The Leaning Tower of Pisa. That's an homage to Mark. I have recently read a book called My Dear Hamilton, which is the story of Eliza Schuyler Hamilton, the wife of General Alexander Hamilton. And she had an extraordinary life. She had a front row seat to the events that led up to the American Revolution and its grueling war and the work that it took to build an entire nation in the early days of our nation's history. And while I had studied the Revolution in school, in history, this book brought it to life for me in a way that I hadn't connected with previously. It really helped me understand the stories about the people and the issues that were important. And as I pondered on that, I realized that much of the work of building this great country where we all have the privilege to live came from asking questions. It was born out of conversation, and it was from interactions, person to person, and colony to colony, and state to state, that build the foundation of this United States. And as a new Rotarian, I'm getting used to some of the processes and traditions that are associated with being a part of a Rotary Club. And among the many new things I've learned is the 4-way test, which you all know by memory. And we don't have the banner here today, so I'm going to be in trouble. But we'll all recite it at the end of every meeting, and I'm sure that almost every Rotary Club does the same thing. of the things we think, say, or do is used by Rotarians worldwide as a moral code for personal and business relationships. The test was originated by a gentleman named Herbert Taylor, who was an American businessman in the early 20th century. He lived in Chicago. He was, in the 1930s, an executive at an aluminum producing company, and the company, like many then, was facing bankruptcy. Mr. Taylor was struggling to find a way to build morale among his employees, and he believed that if the people of his company were to think right, they would do right. And so he set about writing down what he felt like were key questions that the company could embrace as part of an ethical or a moral code. And when Mr. Taylor became an international Rotarian, or served on the board of Rotary International in the early 1940s, he offered a test to Rotary and said, if you feel like this would provide a framework for our clubs nationwide, you are welcome to use it. Rotary adopted the test, word for word. Those 24 words have not changed in the entire time that Rotary has been using them. And now, Rotarians worldwide use that framework as a compass, as a bit of a North Star, if you will, to help guide the decisions and activities of their clubs. I am struck by the fact that the four-way tests are not statements, they are questions. Questions are what formed the basis of this great nation, and they are the very thing that help us as Rotarians connect in our culture and build communities and improve people's lives. Thank you.
Great words, Allison. Thank you very much. If Karen Hiller, Lee Morse, and Jeremy Snowden come up for brief announcements before we get started. And the operative word here is brief.
I'm Karen Hiller, and to follow up on Allison's model, how many people here have been on an inner-city visit for the City of Topeka Chamber of Commerce? Not too many. Well, good. I'm glad I'm here. You should have some posters on your table that look like this. This year's intra-city visit is to Chattanooga, Tennessee. The Chamber started this process, this opportunity about 15 years ago, and the idea was to sort of capture the spirit of the community and where we were going, what was it we wanted to learn more about that we might want to do in Topeka. And let's take a mix of people. Let's take elected leaders, well-known community leaders, and anybody else in town that wanted to go. And go together and have an experience for 2 or 3 days in a city who was doing some things that we wanted to learn more about. That has been really successful. Things like discovering riverfront activities, art districts, downtowns, all of those, truthfully, were ideas that had been percolating in Topeka. Folks went on the inner-city visit and had a chance to visit with each other and kind of work those ideas and come back and say, instead of what we used to say, why, I don't know, to say, why not? So there are 2 of these flyers on each table. Obviously, I have a couple extras as well. This year's trip is from the 17th to 19th. You are responsible for your own transportation to and from, and if you want to go early or stay late, that's fine, or hook up with folks that are already going. The Chamber folks can help you with that. Amy McCarter, there's email and phone information on here. I really encourage you to go. What I know right now is that 5 of us elected officials from Topeka are going, 4 of us from the council and the mayor, city manager going, and some others. So it should be that same kind of networking that we've had before. Thank you.
Very quick reminder, we're getting our mentoring program kicked off for this year. There's a link that Linda put in the announcement email about today's meeting. Please sign up if you're interested in being a part of the mentoring program. We're going to kick that off very, very shortly, and I'll be back in touch with people individually to follow up. Thanks.
Last year we had the opportunity to be able to offer a grant to Highland Park for our Interact group, the Scots Movement, for almost $6,000. This year, they're raising that money themselves through a garage sale. So the way that any of you guys can help is you can comb your living room or your garage in terms of anything that you don't need that's gently used for them to be able to collect. And Angel Zimmerman of Zimmerman & Zimmerman over on Quincy and 9 said that we can bring that stuff there. Also, I'm available, so if you want to also give it to me, it's going to be September 29th, so next Thursday is the last time we can collect anything. Appreciate your support.
Thank you to the three of you. I ask you to pick up this blue piece of paper that's on your table. There should be enough for you each to have your own. The city is sponsoring Help Topeka Win $50,000 to help Highland Park High School with a mentoring program. And Highland Park High School is the school that our club is really invested in and committed to. This would be a wonderful opportunity. There are only a few more days to vote. I think the last day is the 25th, and you get to vote every day. And the Secretary of State will not be checking on you to make sure that you do. Anyway, pick this up, go home, vote again and again and again. Thank you very much. Our program this afternoon is Coco from the Washburn Institute of Technology, and Carrie Norberry will be introducing him.
And I will make it brief as well. It is my pleasure. I get to work at Washburn Tech, and Dean Coco is my boss. So introducing him today is a wonderful thing. You know, you get volunteered to do kind of, you know, I would gladly have done it. Dean Coco, I don't think a lot of people realize exactly how many people he influences every day and the number of campuses that we have around Topeka. Everybody's well aware of the campus on Huntoon, but we also have our cosmetology campus as well. After the first of the year, there'll be the new Eastside campus that's opening up. We have programs out at Fort Riley in the corrections facilities. So he oversees programs and activities that impact Topeka on so many different levels. And so it's really exciting to be a part of an institution that is so vibrant and dynamic and always changing, always looking to see what the latest and greatest opportunities for folks in our community, whether they're high school students or they're post-secondary students, what can we do to help strengthen the community. So it is my pleasure to introduce him to you all and let him speak about our wonderful institution. And we brought some of our latest and greatest technology with us too that he'll touch on. So, Dean Coco.
Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit about Washburn Tech and our world. I want to make a couple of introductions also. Mark Warren here with the fancy little headset on. I'm going to go quick because we want to demonstrate something to you that we believe is state-of-the-art and the opportunity to teach young men and women not only in Northeast Kansas and in Topeka, Kansas, but quite frankly reaching out much further than that also. We know this about tech students. Once they find out what tech is all about and the opportunities and the hands-on and the things that go with it, their abilities, their level of interest just spikes. The other person I want to introduce, of course, is Lori Hutchison. Many of you know Lori from her days with the media here in town, but what you don't know about Lori, I can say these things. Now, what you don't know about Lori is Doug's husband played at Wayne State College in Wayne, Nebraska back in the 80s or so, right? And I was assistant coach at Wayne State. So Doug and I, when we came to Topeka, Doug said, Lori needs to find a job. Can you help her? And I said, absolutely. So we've had a great relationship for five and a half years. We're gonna share this with you in just a second. We're gonna have some volunteers come up. A little bit about Washburn Tech. We believe in a week or so there'll be an announcement of enrollment numbers. We believe our enrollment numbers have gone up 15 straight semesters. 15 straight semesters at Washburn Tech. When we came 6.5 years ago, we had 16 high schools feeding into our programs, and of course post-secondary students. We have 43 high schools feeding into Washburn Tech right now. students from as far away as 40, 50, 60 miles away coming one way to spend 3 hours with us. Let's talk real quickly about Washburn Tech East. Okay, obviously, if you've driven by the location on 21st Street between Indiana and Washington, you've seen a renovation of the military armory building. The Army was there, the Navy was there, and I believe the Marines were there. When the Army left, the Navy said they stole the Army's chairs because they had a better budget and they had better chairs. So I've done a little research on this building. But anyway, cutting to the chase is this. You probably read in the newspaper where we're at a little bit of a slowdown here for a moment or two. Okay, as the process of potentially looking for a different general contractor to come in. So that doesn't stop us though. What we know about tech students is they're driven, and when they're ready to go, they're ready to go. And so what we have done now is we've reached out to other locations to where we actually can start teaching in January as we promised to the students. So we will open up in January, we just will not open up in that building at this time. So we're excited about that. If you write dates down and whatever, you want to come join us for a barbecue on October 12th in the parking lot of Washburn Tech East. It's from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Free food, it's always good. So that's a little bit about Washburn Tech. If you have more questions, I can answer those maybe when we're done. I'd happy to do that. Let me share a couple things with you because time is tight here. We at Washburn Tech compete in something called Skills USA. Now, many of us know there's state volleyball and state basketball and state wrestling, state swimming and competitions. Well, Skills USA is competitions between the 19 community colleges and the 7 technical colleges in the state of Kansas. And we all hunker down, we all go to Hutchinson, Kansas in April of each year, and we compete against each other in the skill sets for which our students have gone to classes all year long. So this past year, we took 144 students to Hutchinson, Kansas for a week. As an administrator, that makes me nervous, okay? All right, but 144 students go down to Hutchinson, all right? And a little bit of those results at the state level. 50 students won gold medals, first in the state. 50 of our students were first in the state. We have picked up 116 medals. Those 144 students picked up 116 medals. First, second, or third in the state. Now, you think about your son or daughter, they went to a competition, they got first, second, third in the state, you'd be pretty excited. All right? And so our students, they come in, and the question I always ask them when they first come into orientation, are you our next state champion? Are you our next national champion? Because you know, they come in and they don't know about their programs many times, but by the time they leave us in April and May, they do know. And we believe they're the best in the state, taught by the best faculty and staff in the state of Kansas. So 116 medals. No one else had that many medals, of course. The medal count was real simple: 20 bronze, 34 silvers, 62 golds by those 50 students. So what happens next? We did pretty well in the state. So now you load up 47 students, you take them to Louisville, Kentucky for a week. I don't know about you, but as administrator, that makes me nervous. All right. So all we do is we go compete against the rest of the nation. That's all we do. We go compete against the rest of the nation. All right. 40 of our competitors finished in the top 20 in the nation. 22 of our competitors finished in the top 5 in the nation. 7 of our students medaled. 3 got bronze, 1 got silver, and we crowned 3 national champions last year. As a parent or a grandparent, you come to orientation and you sit there in the basement, and Carrie has like 50 orientations, and the energy she puts forward and the excitement that she puts forward. And again, that question is a very serious question. Are you our next state champion? Are you our next national champion? Because that's what we expect. And students will live up to expectations if you ask them to do that. So that's a little bit about Skills USA. Another activity we've done on our campus, it started 6 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, signing day. I can't even remember, we invented it, so I ought to remember this. Many years ago, when I was coaching Doug Hutchison, we used to sign athletes to letters of intent. Come play basketball, come play basketball. I posed to our group of people one day, I said, why don't we sign them to letters of intent to be in our programs, our programs of curriculum, auto tech, diesel tech, nursing, whatever it might be. We did that. We signed 512 kids, students, in one day, the 3rd Thursday in February. Why the 3rd Thursday? We were going to do the first Wednesday in February when the football team signed, but I figured out the TV stations wouldn't be able to cover us that day because they'd be in Lawrence and Manhattan covering those football teams. So we scientifically picked the 3rd Thursday in February. That is National Technical Letter of Intent Signing Day. So 5 years ago, 1 college in the nation. Next year, we had 3 other colleges join us for 4. The next year, we had 14. The next year, we had 38. Last year, we had 52 colleges across this nation on the 3rd Thursday in February signing a letter of intent for students saying, I'm making a commitment to you and you're making a commitment to me. Put a hat on, take pictures, just like they do when they sign football or basketball scholarships. That started here in Topeka, Kansas with our staff. Our staff is by far the best group of people I have ever worked with in my life. The success we're talking about right here is not because of the dean. I'm going to tell you, he's not smart enough to know all that stuff. Okay, I'm just telling you, I'm a PE major. You know I'm limited. Okay, all right. I'm talking about these people and these people that make that happen. The last thing I'm going to talk about is Mark starts on this, and how much time do we have, Lori? 10 minutes? 10 minutes. Okay, we got 10 minutes. Is this: we believe that we can deliver Tech Ed virtually. We believe that we can Skype with students all across the state and other places. We think once we introduce students to Tech Ed, their passion comes to the top. We received a grant from the Hanson Foundation. Hanson Foundation is located in Logan, Kansas, quite a ways from here. 26 counties in north central and northwest Kansas. We received a grant for them to deliver technical education. Okay, now we know about technical students. Technical students tend to not go very far away from where they came from. So the chances of a student in Goodland, Kansas coming to Topeka to Washburn Tech is probably pretty minimal. But we need a workforce, folks. We need a workforce, and we need a generation of workforce. So quite frankly, if they go to North Central Tech or they go to Northwest Tech, that's still a great thing for all of us, because we all need workers, we need people. So we reached out, and what we have done here, this is called HoloLens. And this was introduced to me, and I said, you know what, folks, we can take this and we can teach construction skills, we can teach healthcare, and we can teach through virtual reality, and we are doing it right now off of our campus. So we're going to let, what this is, you got to go on, Mark? Okay, so obviously this is the heart, correct? All right, we got some volunteers come up. Just got to get anybody else to come up. I told you I was going to pick on you. Do I need to grab a couple more? 2 more, help us out. 2 more, step up. 1, 2, come on. Come on. All right. Now 1 more, go ahead. So what this is an apparatus made by Microsoft. It's called the HoloLens. All right? And we've looked at other kinds of software and other kinds of equipment. What they're doing is they're looking at this hologram. They'll look at this hologram. So instead of looking at it through a book, studying the heart, the old-fashioned way, which we still do that, but now we've introduced a hologram. And we hope the technology works.
Yeah. I'm just setting it up for them. So
all right. And so you can actually walk around the hologram. You can walk all the way around the heart. You can tell the heart to different conditions. So the heart responds differently depending upon the condition that you tell it to have. You can tell the heart to cut away. The heart continues to beat, but now you can look inside the heart and see what happens to the heart inside the heart, the internal parts of the heart. That was kind of fun to watch, isn't it? What are they doing? But you can not only do this for healthcare. We are partners with Ingersoll Rand Train. We are working on developing apps that we want to talk about when you start to build a building and the conflicts that happen within a building when you're talking about electrical and HVAC items and building materials. We can design the house, we can put equipment in the house, we can design places where things would go, and you can see it through augmented reality. Instead of sending the equipment out to schools, we can get them the software. They can get the equipment, and we can teach the very basics of basic electricity using augmented reality. So what are you guys looking at?
Heart.
The heart. Is it beating for you?
Yep.
All right. Mark, can you get yours up there on the screen?
yep. Get this on.
They really are looking at something. I want you to know that. So let me, as they're doing that, let me just give you a couple other thoughts and then we'll come back to this. We are now home to 5 national training centers. 6 years ago we had none. We have 5 now. Ingersoll Rand Train, the second one in the nation, came on our campus 6 years ago. All right, the next one after that was Case New Holland, Case Construction, skid loaders, backhoes, National Training Center for diesel students. Then came Burlington Northern Santa Fe. All right, and when Burlington Northern Santa Fe came after them was Fiat Chrysler. We were one of the first 10 training centers in the nation for Fiat Chrysler. How you doing, Mark?
It's doing.
It's doing. All right,
There we go.
This is what they're looking at.
Open heart.
So after Fiat Chrysler came Greenlee. That's the 5 training centers. So here's what they're looking at. So each one of them have their own hologram. We can also tie them all together where they're all looking at the same hologram. We also have it to where the instructor doesn't have to be in this room. The instructor could be at a school system wherever there's connectivity. So we can import the instructor into an area to teach students that may not have this equipment or the ability to do this. Folks, I'm sharing Dr. Andy, you know what I'm talking about, right? As far as the need to get technical education spread across the state of Kansas, and there are tons of schools that do not have access to equipment and items to work with. We believe that we can deliver. Matter of fact, we are delivering right now to 6 high schools in rural Kansas because the grant said we had to do it. We got a grant for $438,000 from the Hanson Foundation. So we will teach 6 in the grant this year, 6 in the grant next year to make 12. But believe me, all across northeast Kansas, this is going to be available. Are we about done, time-wise? 5 more minutes, okay. So we have a meeting next week with our regional high school counselors, okay? For example, right now, like I say, we're teaching Zoom right now to students. Anywhere from 9 o'clock to 10, 9 o'clock to 10, or 10 to 11, where an instructor is on our campus talking to students at school systems. And we're teaching data analytics, which is basically heat loads and calculations. Data analytics is an important part of our life right now. If you want to know why they picked O'Hearn up to come to the Royals this year rather than the guy that was hitting a better batting average in Omaha, real simple. Data analytics said the ball leaves his bat faster than it does the ball player's hitting for a higher average. And in Royal Stadium, with the alleys, they wanted the ball player that had the ball that would leave the bat faster. They did that through data, right? So data analytics can tell us what's going on in this building. The Ingersoll Rand Train Company, we will have the only learning classroom that Train has in this nation in the East Side building. To tell us data analytics, you can come in there and we will be able to tell you what's going on where they have connectivity. It could be hospitals, it could be hospitals in San Antonio, but our students will have an opportunity to learn data analytics and what does data analytics tell them as they're making decisions about construction and our environments. So, this is healthcare. Cut away the heart. A whole different way of learning for our next generation of students. We are working with we have a company that we're partnering with that's building us more apps so that we can deliver more things to students. They don't all have to have a HoloLens that costs $3,000. We have other equipment that's less expensive than that. So I need to stop here. What do you think? Pretty cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in the beginning stages of this. But can you see a son or daughter that can be at home and you can study it this way? Or classrooms of students walking around the heart talking about it, and an instructor from someplace else teaching students. Didn't take long to get our young people's interest in this, I can tell you that. All right, for the sake of time, and I know we got to close her down here early. If you'd like to know more about this, we would love to have you on campus. You come be my guest. If it's around lunchtime, I'm buying lunch. All right, if it's in the morning, I'll buy donuts. If you want a soda pop or water, I got that. Okay, yes, sir.
Well, we all know a lot about your program because we're privileged to have our spring tour of middle school students with you. How do you think that program works? I mean, from your perspective.
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, when I was president of North Central Kansas Tech College, we reinstated the 8th grade visitation day. But we found out 4 years later, 4.5 years later, our enrollment went up. And we polled our students and why did that happen? They said, you know, because we came when we were 8th graders. And with the career pathway opportunities now that the Department of Ed has put out there for students, they're all on a career pathway. Okay, they have to work through pathways. We absolutely appreciate what you do. How many we got coming? Andy, you said 600 students? In November. Oh, we need volunteers. Andy told me to tell you that. He didn't really tell me that, but I'm going to say it anyway. Andy didn't say he needed to say about volunteers, but you need some help. All right, so come help, tour around. We very much thank you for bringing students to our, you know, quite frankly, you don't know about Tech Ed until you get on the campus and really find out about Tech Ed and what really happens on our campus.
I'm somebody that needed to go to class to get my attention focused
Yes.
when I was in school. And I've not done virtual work. Could you talk a little bit about how well that works, and does it work to engage people, but then they choose to come to class live, or is it really working well long-term for people to actually start and complete programs?
Well, I would say this. One, we're in the first semester of this program, but today's student is a totally different learner than I am. Okay, in most cases. We have people on our campus that are close to my age too, but the majority of our students come to us. Okay, they're in the millennial age, they're into the tech. What we also find out about students is fractions make sense when you get to cut something. Fractions on a worksheet sometimes don't make sense. Okay, in some cases. And so the practical application of something I really enjoy doing, okay, really lends us then to be able to reach the student. We have continually the highest graduation rate in the state of Kansas, and we have the highest placement rate in the state of Kansas. How does that happen? It happens because of people like Carrie and Lori and other people on our staff. The statement was, we take care of our students. So if you want to complete your program, you go to class. And you go to class and you can operate your cell phone appropriately. Sometimes that's an issue. And you'll do it drug-free. And you can get a recommendation out of your instructor. The truth is this, you come to me at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll have you placed by 5 o'clock. You just say complete your program, drug-free, operate your cell phone appropriately. You really want to go to work, we'll have you placed. We have more career opportunities than we do students. So, can't beat that. All right, I was a PE major. I was thinking, gosh, I might get an interview someday. You know, okay. Questions about this? Yes?
I just have a question. How many students actually serve each year, and also how many do you graduate each year?
Great question. We'll have about 2,300 go through. We'll have about 2,300 students go through in a calendar year from July 1 all the way through June 30. Okay? And how many graduate last year? 1,200, 1,300? Yeah. We had to go to a December graduation, and then we had to go to 2 graduations in May because we have too many students. Can't get them all in May arena. Yes, sir.
I'm not a medical doctor, but I've read that medical school surgeons and doctors are working on 3D models, and I imagine they're working on these kind of models to learn how to do it. I imagine nurses and others are learning their skills this way too.
Yeah, if you want to look it up, it's called Case Western University. Case Western University, the medical component of Case Western is where we found this. I did. I'm going to give it back to you. All right.
So stay up here for a minute, Coco. I was telling him before the meeting, is that better? That I'm mentoring a young woman who I've been trying to get motivated to get her GED. And she'd start, and she'd stop. She'd start, and she'd stop. So I met with Assistant Dean,
Dr. Tatro.
Dr. Tatro, with her and a couple of his faculty. They spent an hour with her, talked to her, drew her out, gave her a tour of the school, and when we left, she said, this is the first time I've really been excited and really can figure out where I want to go next. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So, instead of giving you a pen or a cup of coffee, you don't get that.
Okay.
But you do get to sign a book that we are going to give to Ross Elementary School. Thank you. And you just
sign there?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to.
Give it to them.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very
And
much.
Allison mentioned the 4-way test. And here's
Test.
the test.
Oh, God, I'm stuck. Okay.
So,
thank you, everybody.
It was called to my attention that on this slip of paper that website doesn't work. And I don't know why, because that's the website I use and it did work. Has anybody else tried to use it? Did it work?
I had trouble with it. They did report on Tuesday night that we were second place, so someone must be figuring it out.
We were in first last night.
Okay. Well, what's the trick to getting all the way through the website?
I just went, I had a link sent to me and I just clicked on it. So how about this afternoon? I will send everyone.
Good.
That would be great. We want to keep in first place. So thanks for letting me know about that. Next week's meeting will be at the Ramada Inn, the Grand Ballroom, and it will be our own Vince Fry talking about the downtown plaza. So that should be an interesting topic that we all want to know more about. And so we will end with the four-way test. With the things we think,
Is it true? Is it fair?